Easy English Conversation Podcast.
Hey everyone! Welcome back to Easy English Conversation, your daily companion for English and life. I'm Sophia.
And I'm James. Really good to have you here today.
James, before we start, I need to tell you something that happened to me last week, and I need you to not laugh.
The fact that you said that means I'm already going to laugh. Go on.
So I was leaving a grocery store, Tuesday afternoon, completely ordinary. I had one bag, I was walking toward the exit, and the security alarm goes off. That loud beep at the door.
Oh no. The beep of judgment.
The beep of shame. And I don't know what happened inside my brain in that half second, but I immediately put both hands up, like this. And I said, out loud, to about 15 strangers, I didn't steal anything.
You announced that?
To the entire entrance of the store. And the security guard looked at me and said, very calmly, it does that sometimes, ma'am. And then he turned back to his screen.
He just moved on?
Like nothing happened. And I had to walk all the way to my car knowing that every single person at that entrance had just watched me confess to a crime I did not commit.
I love this story. Okay, but have you ever waved back at someone who was absolutely not waving at you?
Oh, I know exactly where this is going.
Because I did that 3 weeks ago and I still think about it before I fall asleep.
See, this is exactly where we're going today.
Those moments. The ones that happen in 2 seconds and live in your head for 2 years.
The ones that find you in the shower, on the bus, right at that moment when you're almost asleep and your brain decides, hey, remember this?
Yes, today we are talking about embarrassing everyday situations. The universal ones, the social ones, and what those moments might actually say about us.
This is a B1 level episode, so if you're intermediate, you're in exactly the right place. And if some words escape you along the way, just let them go. Stay with us. Your brain is catching more than you think.
We also have a great word tour coming at the end with some really useful expressions for talking about embarrassment in English. So stay with us for that.
And if you enjoy learning English this way, through real conversations and real life, please hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps more people find us.
Now, we have one question for the comments today. What is your most memorable cringe moment? It can be short, it can be one sentence, it can be in English or just a few words. We want to know.
All right, let's jump in.
Okay, so the grocery store alarm. That was day 1, Tuesday. What's your personal record? How many days did you think about it?
4 days. I replayed it 4 days in a row, which is insane because the whole thing lasted maybe 8 seconds.
8 seconds of content, 4 days of suffering. That's a terrible ratio.
The worst part is that physical feeling right after it happens. Like your whole body just contracts.
Yes, that cringe, right? That cringe feeling where you want to physically become smaller. Like maybe if I hunch my shoulders enough, I will disappear from this situation.
When you say cringe, you mean that feeling of what? Embarrassment mixed with wanting to escape?
Yeah, cringe is that specific combination. It's embarrassment, but it also has a physical quality. Your skin does something. Your face does something. It's not just, I feel bad, your body is involved.
And the thing about cringe is it doesn't only happen when something is bad. It happens when you're watching someone else, too. Someone on a show says something painful, and you cover your face.
Secondhand cringe, equally devastating.
Maybe you know this. You're watching something, doesn't even have to be about you, and your whole body reacts.
Okay, I need to tell you about the waving thing properly, because I mentioned it in the intro and I haven't told you the full story.
Okay. Tell me the full story then.
So I'm coming out of the subway. There's a woman at the top of the stairs, big smile, waving, and I think I know her. I don't know how, I don't know from where, but something in my brain said, yes, you know this person.
The confident recognition.
The absolute certainty. So I wave back. Big wave. I'm already smiling. I start walking toward her, and she walks right past me to the man directly behind me and hugs him.
Oh no.
And I'm standing there, mid-wave, arms still in the air, and I freeze up completely. My arm is up, my smile is there, and my brain has left the building.
When you say freeze up, you mean you just stopped? Like your whole system shut down?
That's it. Everything shut down. Freeze up is exactly that. You want to react, you know you should do something, but the signal doesn't arrive. You're just standing there, frozen, with this enormous smile on your face, waving at a stranger's romantic moment.
And what did you do?
I converted the wave into a hair adjustment very smoothly. Brought my hand up to my hair like that was the plan the whole time.
That is the fastest save I've ever heard.
It was not fast. There was a gap. There was a visible gap between the wave and the hair touch. But I committed.
See, the hair adjustment, that's the survival instinct. Something goes wrong, and your brain immediately starts generating alternative explanations for what your body just did.
Exactly. And it almost never works, but you do it anyway.
The one that gets me is the name blank out. You're introducing two people you know, and right in the middle of the introduction, one of the names just disappears.
Gone, just like that. Vanished completely.
Like it was never there. And you're standing there saying, "This is my friend," and then silence.
When you say blank out, you mean your mind just goes completely empty? Like the name existed and then it didn't?
Exactly. Blank out is when your memory just stops working in that moment. Not because you forgot, but because the pressure of the situation makes your brain shut off. And the name is there somewhere. You know it, but you cannot access it.
And you can see on the person's face, the person whose name you forgot, the exact moment they realize what's happening.
Which makes it worse, because now you're both aware.
And you try to buy time. So my friend here, who I've known for 3 years, she loves, coffee. Like that's going to help anyone.
If you've ever been the one whose name got forgotten, you know exactly what that 3-second pause feels like.
Eternal. Cosmically long.
And if you've been the one forgetting, you also know. Because your brain doesn't go quiet. It starts generating noise. It starts listing every other name it knows. Maria, Anna, something that starts with a vowel or a consonant.
Every name except the right one.
The funny thing is, all of these situations have something in common. They happen fast, way too fast for you to prepare. The alarm, the wave, the name, none of them give you a warning.
2 seconds, and then you spend the next 4 days in the shower thinking about it.
Which makes me wonder, and this is where it gets interesting, what happens when the embarrassing moment isn't an accident, when it's something you walked straight into?
Okay, so accidental situations, those are one category. But there's another kind of embarrassing moment that I think is actually worse.
Worse how?
The ones where you did it on purpose and it still went completely wrong. Like, okay, have you ever said you too to a waiter who just told you to enjoy your meal?
I have done that, at least twice.
It comes out before your brain has any say in the matter. Enjoy your meal, you too. And then you just sit there looking at your food.
And the waiter has to walk away pretending they didn't hear it.
And in that moment, you try to play it cool. Like maybe if you just pick up your fork and look very interested in your pasta, the moment will dissolve.
When you say play it cool, you mean acting like nothing happened? Pretending you're completely fine?
Exactly. Play it cool is when you try to appear calm and relaxed after something embarrassing. You don't acknowledge it, you don't react, you just act as normal as you can.
And it almost never works because the other person already saw everything.
But you commit anyway. Same energy as the hair adjustment.
The one that genuinely makes me anxious just thinking about it, accidentally liking an old photo. You're scrolling through someone's profile from 3 years ago and your thumb slips and taps the screen.
Oh, the double tap of destruction.
And there's that half second where you see the heart appear and your entire body temperature changes.
You unlike it immediately, obviously, but you know it's too late. The notification already went.
And then you have to decide, do I pretend this never happened or do I say something?
There's no good answer. Both options are terrible.
Okay, but I think the waiter thing and the photo thing are actually not the worst on this list.
What's worse than those?
Running into someone on the street that you have definitely, clearly, visibly pretended not to see before. And they know it, and you know they know it.
Okay, that one requires a very specific set of skills to survive.
You have to save face somehow. You have to find a way to recover in real time.
When you say save face, what do you mean exactly?
Save face is when you try to protect your dignity after something embarrassing. You can't undo what happened, but you try to leave the situation feeling okay about yourself. Like, you pretended not to see them last week, and now you're standing 2 feet away from them, so you say, "Oh, I've been meaning to message you."
Bold strategy.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes it makes everything worse.
I think mine is starting a story and realizing halfway through that it is not a good story. Not interesting, not funny, Just a sequence of events that happened to me and nobody needed to hear.
And you can feel the energy in the room changing.
You can see it on people's faces, that polite waiting, and you have two options. Stop and admit the story isn't going anywhere, or push through to the end and hope something saves it.
And what do you usually do, James?
I push through, every time. I will find an ending, even if I have to invent one.
See, I think I would rather just stop. Say, actually, this story has no point. Never mind.
I genuinely cannot do that. Something in me refuses.
That's interesting, because I think the oversharing comes from the same place. That need to fill the silence, to keep going, to not let the awkward moment just sit there.
When you say overshare, you mean saying more than you needed to say?
Overshare is when you give too much information, usually to fill an uncomfortable silence or to explain yourself. And you know you're doing it while it's happening, but you can't stop.
That happened to me once at a work lunch. Someone asked me why I was late, and I said, "Oh, I couldn't find parking," which was fine. That was enough. Conversation over. But then I kept going. I started explaining which streets I tried, why I avoided the main road, how long I sat in the car before deciding to move.
Nobody needed the full route.
Nobody needed any of it after I couldn't find parking. And I could hear myself. I was watching myself do it in real time, thinking, "Stop, James, stop." And my mouth was just completely ignoring that instruction.
That's the worst part about oversharing. It's not that you don't notice, it's that you notice and you still can't stop.
Like the word's already left, and there's nothing you can do except follow them to wherever they're going.
And sometimes where they're going is straight into disaster. Because when you keep talking past the safe point, eventually you put your foot in your mouth.
When you say put your foot in your mouth,
It means you said exactly the wrong thing at exactly the wrong time. Usually without realizing it until a second after it comes out. Like asking someone when their baby is due and realizing immediately that you misread the situation.
the silence that follows that moment is a very specific kind of silence.
Very specific. Very loud.
You know what, though? I was thinking about this. All of these situations, the waiter, the photo, the story with no ending, they're funny when they happen to other people. They're funny even when they happen to us, eventually. But right in the moment, there's something else happening too. Something a little bigger than just embarrassment.
What do you mean?
I mean, you only cringe when you care. You only freeze up when something matters to you. If you genuinely didn't care what anyone thought, none of these would feel like anything at all.
You only cringe when you care. I keep thinking about that.
It just hit me while we were talking. Like, embarrassment isn't a flaw in the system. It's proof that the system is working.
Because if you think about the people who never seem embarrassed by anything, they're not necessarily more confident. Sometimes they just stopped caring. About the moment, about the people in the room, about how they're showing up.
And that's actually worse, right?
I think so. The cringe means you're present, you're in the room, you want things to go well. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes your arm is in the air, waving at the wrong person. But at least you were trying.
At least you were there.
And I think that's what changes over time. Not that the embarrassing moments stop happening, they don't. But what you do with them shifts a little.
How do you mean?
When I was younger, something like the grocery store alarm would have stayed with me for weeks. I would have replayed every person's face. Now, 4 days, yes. But then I laugh it off and move on.
When you say laugh it off,
Laugh it off is when you choose not to carry the embarrassment with you. The moment happened, it was awkward, maybe it was funny, and then you let it go. You don't pretend it didn't happen, you just don't hold on to it.
that's the part that takes practice, because the instinct is to hold on, to replay it, to think about everything you could have done differently.
And at some point, you realize the replay doesn't change anything. The alarm went off, the arm went up, the waiter heard you too. It's done.
So you might as well own it.
Exactly. Own it. Don't hide from it. Don't over-explain it. Don't pretend it didn't happen. Just own it. Say yes, that was me. That was awkward, and I survived it.
Which every single time you do.
Every single time. And maybe that's the thing worth remembering. Not the cringe itself, but the fact that you always make it to the other side.
Let's slow down together for a moment. We used some really strong words and expressions today, so let's walk through them before we go.
First one, cringe. That physical feeling of embarrassment where your body wants to shrink. It's not just, I feel bad. It involves your face, your skin, your whole reaction.
For example, I had a cringe moment when I waved at someone who wasn't waving at me. Or that scene in the show was so cringe I had to cover my face. Repeat, cringe.
Cringe. Next, freeze up.
When something happens and your body just stops, you want to react, but the signal doesn't arrive. Everything shuts down for a moment.
For example, I froze up completely when I realized she wasn't waving at me. Or, he froze up in the middle of the presentation and couldn't remember what came next. Repeat, freeze up.
Freeze up. Next, blank out.
When your memory suddenly stops working, usually because of pressure or nerves, the information is there, but you can't reach it.
For example, I blanked out in the middle of introducing my two friends and forgot both names. Or, she blanked out during the interview even though she knew all the answers. Repeat, blank out.
Blank out. Next, play it cool.
When you try to appear calm and relaxed after something embarrassing, you act like nothing happened, even when everyone saw everything.
For example, after saying you too to the waiter, I just picked up my fork and tried to play it cool. Or, he played it cool after tripping on the stairs, but his face was completely red. Repeat, play it cool.
Play it cool. Next, save face.
When you try to protect your dignity after an embarrassing moment, you can't undo it, but you try to leave the situation feeling okay.
For example, she smiled and kept talking to save face after saying the wrong name. Or, he made a joke about it to save face in front of everyone. Repeat, save face.
Save face. Next, overshare.
When you give too much information, usually to fill an awkward silence. You know you're doing it, but you can't stop.
For example, she asked how I was, and I overshared for 5 minutes about my whole week. Or, he overshared at the work lunch and immediately regretted it. Repeat, overshare.
Overshare. Next, put your foot in your mouth.
When you say exactly the wrong thing at exactly the wrong time, usually without realizing it until it's already out.
For example, I really put my foot in my mouth when I asked about her job. She had just been let go. Or, he put his foot in his mouth trying to give a compliment. Repeat. Put your foot in your mouth.
Put your foot in your mouth. And the last two go together. Laugh it off and own it.
Laugh it off is when you choose not to carry the embarrassment with you. Own it is when you don't hide from what happened. You just accept it and move forward.
For example, she laughed it off and nobody even remembered it by the end of the night. Or, instead of explaining himself, he just owned it and everyone respected him more for it. Repeat, laugh it off, own it.
Laugh it off. Own it.
Okay, before we go, we asked you at the beginning about your most memorable cringe moment. We still want to know. Drop it in the comments, even just one sentence. You might make someone else feel a lot less alone with theirs.
And this week, if one of these moments happens to you, the wrong word, the wrong wave, the wrong you too, try to laugh it off, or at least own it. See what happens.
If this episode made you smile or gave you something useful to take with you, please hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps more people find us.
This is James.
And this is Sophia, and you've been listening to Easy English Conversation. Bye!